Okay. Good morning. This is a recorded session because many of you are in a law exam. I hope it goes well for you. Let's sort this visualizer out. And what we're now going to do, excuse my nails, I'm building up to making them look nicer. They're all a bit shabby. I'd like you to exercise the powers of your imagination. And can you, for a fleeting moment, imagine 18-year-old Julie? 18-year-old Julie, where would you have found her? In this very building. Where would she have been doing her English Lit lessons? Upstairs in what are now the history and maths classrooms. But mainly that history one on the corner where it goes up to the corridor. That's where you would have found me, being taught by Mr. Smith. Didn't call him by his first name. Mr. Smith and Mr. Hope, but you could call him Gary because he was a bit younger and cooler. And yes, I had to do coursework, just like you. May I indulge you and tell you what my coursework was on? I compared D.H. Lawrence's Sons and Lovers with John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath, focusing on the centrality of the mother figure. Impressive, eh? I enjoyed it. But just like you find yourselves now with your coursework, every situation like that begins with a blank sheet of paper. So I'm going to model a process by which you can start to think about how you get from that question for your coursework to a 2,000-word essay. Yeah? So I'm going to spend a little bit of time doing that. Some of it, if I had time-lapse photography, that would be good. Amy, which question are you doing? Families damage us more than they nurture us. Right. I've got it on auto. So that's the statement. What does the question say afterwards? What's the little question bit after that? Everybody should have chosen their coursework question by now. What does it say underneath that?
Compare the extent to which Winston and Neil said this is true.
Right. So compare the extent to which Winterson and Teal present this as true. So, the first thing that I'm going to focus on here, right, what kind of families do I have? What's the type of damage? Physical, psychological. Just going to go over a little bit. It's asking me to qualify that morbid and nurture. So, what does nurture look like in these texts? One of the things, so what I'm modelling here is this process where my husband calls it spitballing, where you literally just start flinging down anything and everything that pops into your head about the question, right? I think some of you try and go from this to getting the Chromebooks out and doing a tappy writing away. But I couldn't yet because I haven't even begun to organise what my thoughts are or to know what my thoughts are Never mind organise them into which are the best ones and what I'm going to do with them. What does nurture look like in these texts? And then I've got something already, I'm thinking about the mothers, but are there any other kind of aspects of family? Well, I've got the church, I'm going to just write bad men, because I'll know what that means for later, bad men. I've got Bertha. Something's going on with Bertha and the comfort that she offers, and books. So there's something nurturing there about like this idea of books and that release.
Could you say tea to someone as well?
Yeah, so like an early example of like a friendship.
Yeah.
So I might want to think about her. Okay. What else do I want to kind of consider? If they present this as true, that's the how bit, and that's going to definitely be my AO2. And so one of the things I really want to consider here is genre. Right? I've got a postmodern play, and that play gives me lots of different voices and time frames. And then I've got this semi-autobiographical Bildungsroman, coming-of-age novel. And I definitely want, if I'm not talking about genre, then I'm not talking about the texts appropriately. And one of the things, right, annoyingly, I can't watch a version of this play. So what reviews have I got? What does the set look like? And I know that I've got stuff like that in my coursework booklet and in the coursework classroom. So I need to make a note of that. Have I got any of that in there? And I've also got, in my introduction to this novel, Winterston herself talks about how, in a joking way, how often her novel was filed in the cookery section because people didn't understand what she was trying to do. I don't know if that's relevant yet, but I'm just having a think about it. Okay, I'm going back up here. So again, and this is the process that should always take place before you write a literature essay, right? Is you're letting yourself have the time to think about your best ideas and let them bubble to the surface. Now, type of damage is leading me to think about short term and long term. And already we looked yesterday at how much Jean regresses, which I think is a word I was struggling to find yesterday and couldn't quite get there. So we know that the long-term damage is much more pronounced on Jean because of her own relationship with her daughter. So we don't just want to think about the damage that her mother did to her, but what damage is Jean doing to her own daughter? There's perhaps, is it more hopeful in Oranges, simply because we know that Jeanette has been able to write this novel? Is there a sense of kind of catharsis and release there, that she's at least been able to write this novel? So in real time, that's taken me getting on for about 10 minutes. What do you think that I would do next? What do you think 18-year-old Julie would do next? Kate? No, not yet, sweetheart. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that. There's something much more important I've got to do. Oliver? Yeah. What's missing? Yeah. And this is the bit that sometimes you lot can be a little bit reluctant to do, and it's the one thing that makes the massive difference. What I need to do now is go, right, Let's start here. Type of damage. Let's have a new bit. I'm going to go down here. Right, brilliant. Type of damage. Oops, I can't spell damage. And at this point, I would just sit and go through my book again. And actually not guess, and not just use the stuff we've discussed in class and my notes. I'm going back to the book. There it is. Right? What if I opened it on? Look at that. What a great random page. Ella tries to embrace her mother. She pushes her away, startled. What are you doing? I wanted a drink of water. The kitchen. Yes, in the kitchen. I'm sorry. I go back to bed.